Andrij Dobriansky is an executive board member of the Ukrainian Congress of America. He returned from Western Ukraine last week, and he joins us tonight in our newsroom. Andrij, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Let me start with this report that Ukraine's military is recruiting neo-fascists to help fight pro-Russian separatists. You believe that's true?
No, I'm very shocked by this report. I keep referring to a battalion, and I never saw more than 5 or 6 in one single shot of these soldiers. What we saw in the election was a resounding declaration by the Ukrainian people that they are not interested in ultranationalism, as the rest of Europe is. As we saw in the European elections, of people getting up to 25% in France. We saw in Ukraine that ultranationalist parties didn't get more than 1.5% of the vote for the president. This is not a common strain throughout all of Ukraine. Ukraine is a country of 46 million people, and the vast majority of them do not believe in ultranationalist policies.
You were just in Western Ukraine. What do you hear about what's going on in the East?
What I hear in the East is a lot of repression. What I met in Western and Central Ukraine are people who are internally displaced people from the east of Ukraine. It's a shocking situation that in your own country you're displaced from there. First, we had the people from Crimea who are seeking a life of not being hounded down by the Russian gangs who are looking for people who are not ethnically Russian to crack down on them, like the Crimean Tatars. But in the East, what we're seeing are the people who could possibly be seen as leadership. There is no political leadership right now that has a hold of Eastern Ukraine right now. So what they're targeting are people like priests who have families in Ukraine, doctors, teachers. They're targeting their families, and these people have had to leave their homes behind and travel to the West and Central Ukraine, one, to remain safe, and two, to get their story out to the world that they're being hunted down over there.
Now, Poroshenko in his speech promised to return Crimea to Ukraine. Is that possible, or is this already over?
Well, it depends on what your time frame is. I don't expect to see a country like Ukraine physically attack with mobilized army against Crimea in the next 6 months or so. But what I believe will happen is people in Crimea will more and more get to realize what occupation under Russia will be. What they're having right now is no access to international flights. There are no international flights that will land in Crimea. There is no mail that will be delivered to Crimea. It's a conflict war zone, and as such will not receive those services. Also, there is a lack of medication right now. Russia has promised that they will send medication within a couple of months. However, if you have a continuing condition such as HIV or even something like diabetes, where are you getting your medication from? You don't have enough gas on the peninsula. You don't have energy. Russia promised that the new power plants will be put up within a month of their annexation. As of yet, those power plants have not arrived. So
you would suggest that those who might have voted for to break away won't be happy in the coming months.
I can tell you that I have read diary entry after diary entry of these people who are posting online or sending me emails, or people who I met in Ukraine who are refugees from Crimea, saying that some of them believed that they might actually have a better life. A lot of them are coming to realize that it's not coming to pass.
How does Poroshenko turn this around?
Well, Ukraine is an untapped potential right now. Ukraine is really one of the places that Western business can get a toehold in for the next 10 years.
Who's going to go, what Western business is going to invest in a country that seems to be torn by civil war?
Well, there's no civil war, and I think the West is really realizing more and more how much it is that it's Russian intervention and Russian terrorism.
Well, whatever it is,
yeah.
I mean, if you got a business, how much do you really want to get involved in a country that's going through this?
I'm going to 100% agree with you, John, because I know of businesses in Ukraine whose contracts have disappeared during this time of Russian intervention. But what I do know is that Ukraine is a vast, untapped potential of people who have been seeking jobs for close to a decade. We also have the natural resources. I'm talking about natural gas. I'm talking about aluminum. The iron reserves alone in the country are still untapped at this point. And if Ukraine can settle the border conflict with Russia and get to a ceasefire, this is what the president announced today. There's a trilateral meeting going on with OSCE and Europe being the mediators, with Russia and Ukraine sitting down at the table together. This is happening as we speak. And what he's trying to achieve is a ceasefire. Now, we've seen with the situation in Georgia that the ceasefire doesn't necessarily work out in ways for the occupied country.
But maybe it's a possibility.
But it's a possibility, right. And at that point, there is a brief window of time between the ceasefire and maybe the next decade towards European integration where Ukraine can actually be a big lightning rod for American investment to throw business towards Europe.
All right. Andrij Dobriansky, it's good to have you in the program. Thanks very much.
Thank you, John.
And coming up next, Convincingly Human,